Hey everybody, and welcome to your Indie Snapshot for today. Today, we're taking a look at a game that has been generating a lot of buzz over the past few days, and that game is Game Dev Tycoon. And much like other Tycoon games like Roller Coaster Tycoon, it's all about directing your company to fame and success from humble beginnings. And instead of owning a theme park, you own a game development company starting with a single man and taking that single man in his garage and boosting him to stardom and success through the years. You start in the 80s where you're developing for kind of old-timey PCs, and as time goes on and new technologies emerge, you must then decide how you're going to spend your money on research. Do you want to research new engines for home consoles? Do you want to stick to your guns on PCs? How is your company going to evolve to stay relevant through the times as you develop new games? It's actually a lot of fun and pretty deep for a game that is only about $8. Of course, the link to purchase it will be in the description below. So I have the game on the pause menu right now. When you start the game, you're asked to name your company and name your character. So I named my company Mathis Games. We're going to start from the beginning. I'm going to play for a little bit, and hopefully you kind of understand the gist of how the game works. And then I'm going to talk about a little bit why this game has developed a lot of hype. So right away, we're going to hit continue. So here's our basement. Man, we look good. And if I click anywhere, it'll bring up a menu. We haven't developed a game yet. We have $70,000 to our name. Year 1, month 1, week 2. We need to develop a game. So we're going to have a tutorial. We're not going to really worry the tutorial too much because I've already gone through it. I'm going to talk about it as we go. So when you develop a game, you want to name your game, but maybe before you name your game, let's figure out what topic we're going to be using. What kind of game do we want to make? How about a medieval game? It's going to be an action game, and we're going to develop it on the PC because the dev cost on a PC is a lot less than the G64. And though the market share is more on the G64 size, we're up and coming. We barely have any money, so we might as well hit it for the PC. And we'll call this chivalrous, not chivalry, chivalrous. It's going to cost about $10,000 to make. It's going to be graphic-based, so that's going to bump up the cost a little bit more. We could make it text-based to save some money, but we're going to jump that about $5,000 by making a 2D graphics game. We're going to hit start development. So as soon as you start development, you can see little bubbles coming out of this guy's head. So there's 3 stages to the development, as the tutorial says. Beginning of each stage, you decide what areas you want to focus on as you make the game. So it's very important to increase and decrease areas of focus. So we're going to be 3 stages of development are always going to pop up. The first one is your engine. You have to decide where you want to allocate a lot of your time. Engine, gameplay, story. Well, we're making a medieval action game, so I think story and quests are going to be minimal. We want the gameplay for this game to be really good. Again, this is our very first game. We're kind of putting our heart and soul into this, so we want to make sure we're going to put as much work into gameplay as we can. The engine, which kind of just determines overall just how the game looks, sounds, etc., is going to be not our biggest push, but we don't want to leave it behind, so we're going to hit OK on that. So you can see bubbles popping out of his head, different colors. They're going to go over to research, which we spend as like experience points. We're going to spend that on unlocking new things. We're going to get to that after we make the first game. Technology, design, these 2 are very important. These 2 kind of determine the quality of the game combined. And bugs. Every game you develop is going to come up with bugs, some more than others depending on the combination of game you make, where you allocate a lot of your time development, and we'll talk about that when it happens. So quite simply, that is stage 1 of development. We are generating points that divide design technology points, quite like I said. There will be bug points that are generated, etc., etc. So we're going to take a look at where a lot of our points are going. Design is actually getting a good chunk of points. So we're development stage 2 for chivalrous. What do we want to focus on? Well, since it's not really an RPG, dialogue is not a big deal. Artificial intelligence is going to be important, since multiplayer in this era doesn't really exist, and level design wants to be pretty decent as well, but I think AI is going to be our biggest seller in this section here. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to put a lot of our points here. We got another bug. We got 3 bugs so far. Design is not getting as many points as I would like. Neither is technology. And we're just telling us what we can pick for blah, blah, blah. We're going to go into stage 3 here. So we can pick over here. Eventually, we're going to have other options like different graphics we want to use, different sounds we want to use. But for now, we're going to want to focus on graphics. It wants to look really good. We want it to sound pretty good, so I think leaving it there. World design is going to be taken down a notch, and we're going to go with that. Hopefully, this is going to help us out. There we go. We got a lot of research points going, but this needs to be a decent seller if we want this to do well. So now that it says finished, we could just push the game out right now with bugs and all, or we can wait a little bit and let him work on the bugs. Now, right now, it's not a big deal if we wait for him to work out the bugs because we're kind of not on a timeline. But as you get into bigger companies, bigger buildings, kind of timelines might come into effect with producers and whatnot. And you might want to push a game out buggy, kind of reflecting how games are today. But we can afford to wait, so we can let him work out his bugs. Every once in a while, when he's working out bugs, an extra like little design thing might pop up. He might discover something. But that's it. Oh, there it is. He'll just decide. If you wait longer, he could effectively make the game a slightly better by kind of honing his skill. But we're gonna finish, and now the development stage is finished. We're gonna be shipping the game here. It's going to show us over here our kind of 12 and 10. And then we're going to earn experience. Now, as we level up in these, it just means we're going to be better at certain things. So if we level up our gameplay, every time we focus on gameplay, the gameplay is just going to be that much better, etc., etc. And then our overall level. But we're going to release the game. We could trash the game, but we're going to release the game. And now what we do is wait. We hand off to the publisher and we wait for reviews to come in. We can also, while this is happening, we're going to pop up in the research tab real quick. Yeah, we don't need to read that. Yeah. Okay. So what do we want to do? So we can spend our research points on custom engine, which we're going to want to do ASAP. But I'm going to spend 10 points on a new genre. And sci-fi is going to be a really good genre to research. We're going to want to get that as soon as we can. So while we wait for the reviews, he's going to start researching. And here comes the reviews for Chivalrous. Let's hope they're good. A 6, quirky but good, not bad. Anything 5 or above at this early stage is going to be good. Shows potential, that's really good. This is going to be a moneymaker for us, I think. Nice experience, a 7, that's really good. And a 7, beautiful. So it's actually a really good first game for us. Informed Gamer, I love that. All these are obviously kind of spoofs on other magazines and websites. But this is a really good kind of thing for us. Now we're going to get to see the sales of our games. Mathis Games, a newcomer in the game industry, has just released their first game, Chivalrous. The game received favorable reviews. With such a good start, Mathis Games are sure to gain fans quickly. So basically, what's going to end up happening now is we're going to see the sales of our game over here. It's going to sell over a certain amount of time before it's taken off the shelves. So in our first week, we sold 4,300 units and made it to number 75 on the charts. Not bad. We made a little bit of money off of it. We gained 16 fans in the process, which is going to be very good for us because they're basically loyal people who will always buy our games. We'll earn income every week that the game is on sale, so we're going to make money every single week. Then we now have 16 fans. We got 16 fans of that. And we research sci-fi, which is good. While this is selling, we're going to start our new game. So we're going to pick a new topic here. And why don't we do something tried and true? We're going to call this Yellow Alert. We're going to make this a military strategy game. And we're going to make it for the PC because it's still cheap to make it for the PC. It's going to be graphics-based, of course. But making this a real-time strategy, so to speak, should be good. So we want to stick with gameplay being high, maybe crank the engine up a little bit. Stories and quests, a little bit more important, but not as important as the gameplay is going to be. So we'll leave it at that. Hopefully he'll start working nicely, and hopefully he'll be able to do well. Chivalrous has achieved a company sales record with 10,000 units sold. Very important milestone for this. 10,000 units for somebody in his garage is really good. I have $76,000 to his name, but trust me, one bad game can sink you, and we hopefully won't see that if I keep going well. So we want dialogue to stay down. I think level design is going to be a bit... we'll drop down AI just a little bit and make level design crank it up a little bit like that. I think that'll be a good balance there. Level design and AI in an RTS is going to be very important. Dialogue, not so much. We want to save the research points to create our own engine, though. We are going to keep it with graphics. World design is going to get cranked. Actually, just let's make sound a little bit better. And graphics can come down a bit. There we go. And then we're going to send that off, and hopefully this is going to look good. It looks like it's going to turn out pretty decently. We're going to work out some bugs here. Anything going to... Oh, that last bug was a bit of a tough one, apparently. But we made some money. We're in the positives. We basically netted us an extra $5,000 from our last game. Let's finish up the game and see how well Yellow Alert sold. So Chivalrous is off the market, selling 13,000 units, generating about $94,000 in sales. Obviously, giving us a bit of a profit there. We're going to hit OK. It's basically saying the Commodore 64, essentially, is steadily outselling its competitor in the PC sector. But it basically mimics history. As time goes on, the Nintendo is going to come out, but they're going to call it something else, the Nintendo or something. Basically, history is going to repeat itself as you develop, which kind of gives you a general overall kind of an edge as you play the game. So let's see how well this game ends up selling. So we're going to new record at 12 and 12, which is good. We almost leveled up in gameplay, but let's release the game and see what reviews come out. We're going to save our research points until we see 50, and we can just design our new engine, and we can talk about that as we go in. So Yellow Alert reviews came in. Let's take a look at what they are. We are going to get a 6, quirky but good. One of my gripes of the game is a lot of the quotes are kind of used over and over again. A 7, a 6. We're going to get similar, if not the same reviews. A little bit worse than our last game. Could have been more. I agree with you. It definitely could have been more. We'll see how it ends up selling. While that's selling, we can actually take a look at our game history here. Yellow Alert, a general 6.25. Chivalrous 6.5, so not bad. We can hit OK. So this is obviously spoof on Red Alert. Hi there, I've just finished Yellow Alert and I impressed your talent. I'm in the contracting business and we could use skills like yours. If you're ever short on cash, just let me know and I will see if I have any work for you, Jason. So we unlock contracts. If we're ever hurt for money, we can always just do some contract work for a little extra money. Not selling nearly as well, unfortunately, but that's fine. We're going to develop a new game while this is going on. There we go. And let's do something like... Let's do mediocre effect. Let's make a sci-fi RPG for the PC. Mediocre effect. Let's see how well this ends up going. So we're going to start design on mediocre effect. It's going to be stories and quests, while gameplay is going to be minimalized to an extent. Engine's going to go up. We'll do something like that and see how well this goes. So we're going to do mediocre effect. So the reason this game in particular has kind of caught on, or has been talked about a lot lately, is because they have a very interesting anti-piracy act. For those who pirate the game, piracy is actually introduced to the game. In fact, so heavily that later on in the game it becomes very impossible to do well as a company because your game is being pirated so heavily it's impeding sales. And I think that's a really kind of cool way of, we're going to drop AI in an RPG a little bit, keep level design up there, but drop AI significantly. I think it's a cool way to kind of combat piracy of games, especially for an indie company. This is this company's very first game. It's 2 dudes who made it. And it's kind of cool that that's the way they did it. Instead of saying, no, they've actually uploaded the torrent themselves with piracy in there, and it's become kind of a cool way to do to kind of combat piracy. People have complained, I guess, most of the pirates have complained that it's too hard to beat the game because of piracy. Kind of an ironic situation. So they're just saying right here that Nintendo there's rumors of a Nintendo console coming out. We'll see how that ends up going. Probably going to go very well, I can only assume, if history does repeat itself. Hint, hint, it does. World design is going to be important. Graphics, yes, but not as such. And sound, I want to be very important. So we're going to keep... Actually, let's drop sound a little bit. Let's make graphics important. It is an RPG. It needs to be kind of a spectacle, does it not? So we have enough research point to create our own engine. Come time for our own engine here. We'll work out the bugs. Hopefully we'll get a little extra design points out of it. We'll see. It has sold 100... Oh, it actually sold more in the long run than Chivalrous did. That's awesome. And we gained a fan by that. So that's actually really interesting. So Yellow Alert didn't do as well right away as Chivalrous did, but it did do better in the long run. So that can happen. A game can do better over time than a game can do initially. So we leveled up a bunch there, a bunch of level 2 stuff, which just means it's going to be better quality overall. We're going to release the game and we'll see. The first reviews for Mediocre Effect have come in. Oh, come on, baby, be good. I like it. Oh, man, we are sticking at barely above average. Nice experience. Informed gamer seems to be a fan of my games. Shows potential. Of course, it shows potential. Beautiful. So, about the same review scores as Chivalrous. Before we worry about sales, let's research a custom game engine. Alright, so we're going to get our own custom game engine. While that's going on, we're going to get our sales of Mediocre Effect to come in. Nintendo has confirmed recent rumors and announced their plans to release a new home gaming console called TES early next year. Oh, kind of the NES. But we're going to get our own custom game engine coming out. This is going to help us make better games. That is going to be more kind of... Make our games better because we have this... Basically, think about it. Our games are going to be better because we've designed an engine with our games in mind. So it's also going to be good. So we've got our own game engine now. So we've researched the ability to make our own game engine. I'll show you how that works here momentarily. So we're going to create a custom engine. So what I want to create is our first engine is going to be PC based. I'll show you what I mean by that. And I'm going to call it MyTech 1, the very first MyTech. We want it to have 2D graphics, but version 2 of it. Mono sound, which is going to sound really good. linear story abilities, which is going to be great for RPGs, and I'm going to have a save game. So this engine, all in all, is going to cost $120,000 to make, but we can afford that because our first 3 games have sold really well, and we're going to create my tech right now, and he's going to take the time to do that. Yep, basically we're going to be able to use that in our upcoming games, and while that's happening, the sales of Mediocre Effect should really hold us over pretty well. We can actually take a look at our gaming history. I'm curious how well my tech is selling. So, right here, it looks like, not Mediocre Effect, I want to take a look at Chivalrous. Chivalrous did sell really well first week. We made a $55,000 profit, but we did a better profit over with Yellow Alert. Even though it didn't necessarily sell right away, it hit probably a niche part of the market that people really like. The Mediocre Effect is doing what it seems like even better. Mediocre Effect is doing phenomenally well, which is really, really cool. I really like that. So like I said, you can see just the way you design your games is exceptionally important. Making these decisions and how you're going to design your games completely impacts your reviews and the way they sell. And what I really like is that even if the reviews aren't phenomenal, sometimes they'll still sell phenomenally well because it might be a genre that people are interested in. So especially in this time frame. So we got Mediocre Effect sold insanely well, and our next game is going to be our magnum opus for the PC, and I'm going to show you why. So My Tech 1 is finished. We're going to design a new game here. Actually, I'm going to do a little research first. We're going to do some actually, I'm going to wait on doing research, and I'm going to show you why. So we're going to design our own first game. We're going to make a actually no, you know what, we are going to do a little bit of research first. We're going to research a new topic. I want to research fantasy. I want to make a fantasy RPG with my new engine because it has linear story available as well as save points. So I'm hoping it's going to sell us. So we have monthly cost about $8,000 every month. Keep that in mind when designing a game because that can make you go bankrupt as well. So we got fantasy. So let's design a new game here. We're going to call it, what's going to be a fantasy RPG using the PC and using My Tech 1. And we're going to call this Decisive Fantasy 1. Obviously, homage to, we're going to call it, we'll do 1. There we go. So it's going to use My Tech. It's going to be our new graphics, which is going to cost us $30,000, but it's going to look freaking phenomenal. And here we go. Let's see how well this goes. We've already gone kind of broke doing it. So this the NES has been released. So story and quests, we want to use linear story and as well as a save game. So it's going to cost us extra $15,000. But I'm going to crank up the engine, the gameplay a little bit, bring it down a little bit. Engine's going to go up a little bit, and story's going to stay at max. We can now research a gamepad, which is going to be necessary. When we research gamepad, what's essentially going to happen is we're going to need to make a whole separate custom engine for consoles. Dialogue is going to be important. Level design is going to be just as well as important. AI, maybe a little bit. We'll do that. So there we go. My guy's working on this game. Hopefully it's going to be his magnum opus so far. I mean, he's got a lot of confidence now. He's done really, really well. World design, we're going to crank up the sound because we're going to use mono sound here. We're going to crank up sound. Graphics are going to be pretty good, but we're going to actually crank up the sound over here. We want graphics to be slightly better, and we're going to hit OK. And hopefully this is going to be really, really good. I'm really hoping this is going to be excellent. We have a 15 and a 15. Now we're going to work out some bugs. My guy's got the time. He doesn't really need to worry about money. We can go about $50,000 in the negative. Ooh, we got another technology and design point there as well. Oh, there's another one as well. Another perfect. That's awesome. Here we go. New record for both. We leveled up in a few areas. Here we go. Let's release Decisive Fantasy 1. New research available for joystick. That's great. While this is selling, let's start the research on the gamepad. It's going to cost us $20,000 and 10 research points, but it's going to be really necessary. And here come the reviews for Decisive Fantasy 1. Oh, man. Oh, man. Can't wait for the sequel. Oh, that's awesome. Fantasy and RPG is a great combination, obviously. Like I said, combination of games and types is going to be good. So if you went for like a sports RPG, might not have done so well. And another 9. 9989. Hello, beautiful sales. Here we go. Let's take a look at the sales over here. Oh, look at them going up, 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 up. Oh, beautiful. That's going to cash us some big money right there. We have the gamepad officially researched. Yeah, just research your first engine part. To be able to use this in your games, you need to create a new engine, which includes this part. So we're going to let this kind of finish up here. We're going to create a custom engine. What we want to do is make this, basically we want to make this console engine, but we don't really have the money for it right now. We actually might have to make a game before we do that, just to pull in some more sales. Let's see. According to our market research, the recently published game Decisive Fantasy 1 is a surprise hit with players. The developer Matt this game is fairly new to the gaming industry. Cannot wait to see what they develop next. So with 24 fans, things are looking really good, and generally, that's how this game plays. Now, of course, as time goes on, you're going to be in bigger buildings, you're going to be working with multiple different people, all kinds of new things are going to come into effect. Designing games is going to take more time, it's going to take a lot more money, and more importantly, you're going to be on a time frame, and all this is going to come into play as you play the game, and it becomes much deep and much richer as you play. But this is kind of a first kind of look. If this itself, just garage making games, has really kind of sold you, wow, we made a lot of money on this game, I highly, highly suggest you go pick this game up. I'm having a ton of fun with it. It is something I can't wait to continue playing, and I hope you guys check it out as well. Thank you so much for checking out this indie snapshot of Game Dev Tycoon. It is great, a game by Greenheart Games, and guys, definitely worth checking it out. You know what? Let's make one more game, and then we'll call it. Let's develop a new game. What are we gonna make? What are we gonna make? What haven't we made yet? A sports simulator. Let's just show that everybody in the world that we are worth all kinds of fun things. I wish I could give it to the TES. You know, I can't. I don't have the ability to. So, sports simulator. We're gonna have to do for the PC. That's fine. It's gonna use my tech, and it's gonna be baseball 1982, the classic baseball video game. You know what? Baseball 1986. It's probably 1986 at this point. So let's do baseball 1986. It's gonna look gorgeous, obviously. Hopefully this will hit a niche audience and gain us some new fans. We don't want to worry about stories and quests. We want to worry about gameplay and our engine. We don't want linear story. We just need saved game. We don't have to worry about a story. It's gonna save us some money there. Let's see. This is basically, this game is being created just so we can make the engine for the console wars. We want to get involved. No dialogue. All about the artificial intelligence, and even level design can take a back seat when it comes to sports games. I'm not really worried about sports games level design so much. Hopefully the game will recognize that. What do we got next? World design can drop pretty low. Graphics has to be good, and the sound has to be good. And we'll keep the money spent over there. And let's see. And Nintendo is a surprising success, obviously. But we all knew that was coming. So let's see how well this ends up doing. This looks really good. We're going to work out some bugs. Hopefully we'll get a little bit extra points out of it. We're programming out the bugs right now. And we're going to get anything bonus? There it is. Anything else? Another one? Anything else? Are we good? I mean, I can wait all day if you need me to. Finish. Let's sell this puppy. Come on, baby. Another new record. New topic, new combo, great combo. So we got a bunch of extra experience there. Let's release the game. And we need to make the money to make the research. Baseball 1986 came in. Sports simulation, great combination. This is our cash right here. This is our cash grab game. Not looking to blow the world of game away. That's going to be Decisive Fantasy. That's going to be our magnum opus, hopefully. And another beautiful. So it's going to be good. I think it's going to make us the money we need. It's a good game. It's obviously gotten some good reviews. Let's see how baseball sells. Looks like it's selling really well. Actually, it's selling phenomenally well, apparently. Let's take a look at how phenomenally well it's going to sell. Wow, it's selling really well. So now we can create a new custom engine, gamepad, and call this MyTech Consoles. Console. MyTech, actually, yeah, Console 1. Create the engine. While we're selling away, we can definitely have time to create this engine. Star Games gave it a saying, sports simulation. If math games continue to innovate like this, they might become a new fan favorite. Hell yeah, fan favorite. And now with this, we're going to be able to create games for the console because of the gamepad. Very, very cool. So this is, again, the game. I'm done talking about it. Go check it out, guys. This has been your Indie Snapshot for today. I hope you've enjoyed it. I am having a ton of fun with the game. And I will see you next time. It's going to let us... Yeah. Target audience research. Beautiful.